But I want them guys to get their fucking shit together. Sure do I brush up my I have shelf life pizza pump rack. I'm not indestructible robot. There we go. I just got that. There we go. Apex. That shelf life. Oh, good show tonight. Oh, good. I'm late. Oh,
Yo, what up, buddy? What's up, Tim?
yeah, you get this Niagara Falls.
You are inside of a box right now. Give me a sec.
Well, that's cool after flooded area. Everybody's going.
Yo.
Awesome.
Got aired up on the other over here. Oh. Yo. What up, redneck? What's going on, everybody?
You guys.
Should. Yeah, I said it. Ooh. This is it's a party light. $20. I need one. Yo, McCormick, what's up, my dude? Gotta close out that. Open link in new tab. Dallas, what's going on, buddy? What's up, everybody coming in from errands? Oh, I got the hiccups bad. Whew. No, only way to solve that, right? Fucking fire in the bowl. Brought to you by Sausage Cream Biscuit Farms. .com. That's a hard word to say. Why you're coughing? Raid. Jomaran Pelosi. They are the ones. The white liberals promise to take good care of blacks. Oh, shit. Great meme. Great meme. Raid. Raid. What's going on? Welcome in. Get all tripified right here. Woo! Get this. Yes, Schumer and Pelosi are the white saviors. Yeah. I have too much energy. I've slept all day. Well, not all day. I got a good dentist checkup, so we're good. Got a good cleaning. There's that. So teeth feel amazing. No, not enough shrooms. Actually, I have not taken any shrooms today, Singularity. Need more sugar in my diet. Yes, you are right. I do need more sugar in my diet. I'm not sure what this is gonna do. Give me just a sec. I gotta hit the invite button. Throw that on up into here. Yeah, boy. So there's all that. And then I have to send this. Paste. Send. Clear out that. Oh God, we're not good. Hey Nation, what's up, my buddy? So here's the question. Reaper sauce or classic Caesar?
Reaper sauce.
Reaper sauce? Yeah,
Yep.
that's what I'm going for too. That's what I'm thinking. By the way, check this this company out, Scotty O'Hotty. They make a great Reaper sauce. Not stupidly hot, but great flavor. Well, I did that nonsense. Hang on a second. 2 seconds. I'm not sure what this is going to do.
What's up? You didn't fall asleep already, did you? Who blah 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 blah. Wasn't that like the Tasmanian Devil talked on that video game on Sega Genesis?
Able to beat beat.
No. He was blah 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 blah.
Okay, this time.
Hey, Apex.
No. Yo.
What is the code word from the movie Transformers?
Oh, I don't remember.
Bebop Mini Bop.
Ah! Give me 2 seconds.
2 seconds.
1001, 1002. Time's up. Fire in the bowl. That's a fire in the motherfucking bowl. Yep. Ranger. What you want, Bubbles? Come here. Come here. Come here. Bebop Mini Bop.
Butt burst.
Well, Ranger, what you want? What you want? Oh, he's getting in my grill. He wants to go. I don't want to say it because I think he wants to go as. Yeah, don't you? Yeah. Yeah, come here. Come. He says it's too hot in here, Dad. I don't want to go back outside. This is my puppers. This is Ranger.
He's cool.
No, actually, he's really hot right now. That's why he wants to go back outside. Yeah, but He's an Anatolian Shepherd, and he's about 110 pounds right now. So he's still growing. Yeah. What? You want to go outside? What? Look at me.
Wouldn't move shit.
All right, let him back outside. He came in and got some cool water to drink. All right.
It was crazy. I tried so hard to send the link and it just didn't want to send. Yeehaw! That's got some kick. So what's going on?
Not too much.
Back outside.
Cool.
Yeah, because it's cooler outside than it is in here.
No. Burrito. Whoa. It was a tripped out burrito for a second.
Right. Curly Q's. Yeah. Yeah,
Man,
Curly
you make me so hungry when I watch this stuff.
You're welcome.
It's like
Well,
you-
wait. I just wait for time. I wait for pie. That's all.
It's got rice, pork belly,
Bacon.
some avocado, basically bacon, yeah. Some diced up jalapenos. Threw in some chicken nugget with it, and topped it
A
off
little
with
bit of
Caesar
ranch.
salad-
Get some ranch. Yeah.
Caesar salad dressing.
Oh, there you go.
Mm-hmm.
Basically, olive oil and garlic and sage. Yeah.
No, correction, Crazy Legs. Apex is always eating on stream.
Yeah, Brian. I'm telling you, his head is bigger than mine. That's no joke. Ask Apex. He's seen him. Ranger's a beast.
Oh man.
And Princess ain't far behind him. In fact,
Oh,
Apex is
Ranger?
like,
Oh
I
God,
was
yeah.
like,
Ranger's a small bear.
yeah. And Princess is just a little smaller than him.
Not for much longer though, man. Shoo. Because they're about the same age, right?
Yeah, he's about 6 months younger than she is.
Yeah.
It won't be long before we get puppies.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Those two are thick as thieves. They start working together now. She'll keep an eye out front. He'll keep an eye out back.
So, hey, Skull, this bite's for you since you like to watch me eat.
You know what, Skull Drazer? I think they got the better deal, even if they ain't that much smarter. They found a place where, they're loved, they get fed, they got freedom, they're not bound to a chain or a yard. You know what I'm saying? They got lucky.
Mm-hmm.
I feed them eggs every day. Now, I'm the lucky one. These are some awesome dogs. They protect me.
Oh my God. I got like 6 jalapenos from the store, and that last one was the one that was actually hot.
Hey, Apex, try this.
Here, eat half. Eat half right away.
I said take a bite of it. That's what I told you. I didn't say.
I thought you were like, here, just mow into this.
I said take a bite of this, and you grabbed it and then you spit it back out. That was just
I pulled a blow pops out. One, two, a Tootsie Roll. Yeah,
go fuck this.
a Tootsie Pop. 1, 2, 3.
Right. Yeah, dude. They're coming in like, oh man, they're coming in like crazy now.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. So I'm trying to figure out what I'm gonna do with them. I gotta find me another small jar, and I guess I'm gonna chop a bunch of them up and put them in a jar. I've been thinking about making a jalapeno paste.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, so I can add it to dishes in a paste fashion.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
I think Skull's onto something here. I fantasize about getting a job as a cat. You get to lay around, eat food for free, and you get to poop in a box. There's something to that. Hey, Miriam. Hey, Huckleberry. Welcome
There's
in.
my Huckleberry.
Valentine.
I was waiting for her. What's up, Miriam? How you doing? Because Miriam's always in the background. She's always flirting.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, Valentine, welcome in.
She's one of our coolest lurkers.
Yeah. Yeah, Huckleberry does a pretty good job, too.
This is true.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to use some of the seizure to cool off that Reaper burn.
Right. Those were not Reapers. Those are jalapenos. I'm scared, dude. I got 2 of those. I pulled 2 of those habaneros off.
Oh yeah?
Yeah, they haven't turned orange yet. I'm not.
Oh.
I was looking for Apex. I was like, Apex. Randy just looks at me and says, "Fuck that."
Get Daniel to try it.
Who?
Get Daniel to try it.
Daniel
He's
might do
the
that.
stuff.
Yeah, but Daniel's in town for the time being. He went in town
well.
for a week.
Well,
Stay at his aunt's. He
yeah.
saw the 95s and the 99s and the 98s in the forecast. He says, "I'm out of here."
No,
Just
I
for a
understand
few
that,
days.
yeah.
I was like, "Wimp." I called him out. He was making all kinds of other excuses of why he was going to town. I was like, "I know why you're going to town. Air conditioning." I don't blame him.
What's up,
Nah,
Miss Mary?
Maybe So, Huckleberry, you making some more candy, or do you do that only in the winter time? Hey, Natural Nation.
Oh. Nice.
You know, that's how we named those spices Dennis sent us.
Oh yeah? Oh, that's right.
We put them on our tongue and said, "Oh fuck! Oh fuck!" The other one was like, "Oh, that's pretty good." oh shit, it's got a roundhouse kick to the head.
Ooh, buddy.
It tastes good for a minute though.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
It's at least about 3.5 seconds.
That first one that's unnamed, I would name Jeebus with an exclamation point. Jeebus!
Actually, that's the mildest one. It's actually doable. I can actually use that one on
Oh,
some.
nice.
Jeebus.
Oh yeah, it's still hot as shit.
Oh,
Hey, I got him. Singularity.
Hey guys,
Oh,
what's up?
Hey, buddy.
How's it going, guys?
Hey, Sing,
Oh,
have you seen any other? Have you seen any? How much research have you done into the Anunnaki?
The Anunnaki. Anything I can usually get my hands on to.
So you're
What
familiar with
aspect?
Inky?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay, the ENKI, right?
Yeah.
Have you ever checked out the Lost Book of Inky?
I have not.
You need to.
Okay.
You really need to. That's some twisted shit.
Oh, really?
Oh my god, it reads like a porn novel at the beginning.
Oh.
Oh, I'm not
That's
kidding.
funny.
I'm not kidding. It's too big. Yeah. Oh, it's all good. Yeah.
The Anunnaki, the Inky that's I'm trying to think. He's a lot like kind of the Thoth figure, right?
Correct.
Okay. Yeah.
Yep.
Yes.
The Thoth, depending on how you say it. I've heard Thoth, I've heard Thoth.
Right. He was
Yeah.
the master of the school of mysteries.
Yeah. The science, the one that
Right.
says created us from other parts, right?
Well,
When you get into some of that,
they don't
Anunnaki.
necessarily say that, but they do say that they progenitorized.
Yeah,
You know,
yeah, true.
It doesn't say they created man, but they definitely
I have to learn.
modified him.
Yeah, I guess they took the existing Homo
And made their
species that
own.
was here and
Right.
made one that was more able to learn, more able to function, more able to
More able to be controlled.
Yep.
Because the previous generation had the ability to become godlike. Our
Well-
progenitors, the ones before the modification, they had the third eye capabilities. They had these extrasensory perceptions, and they were aware and using them.
And
They
see, that's where, right. And that's where it gets confusing on some of it because there's different aspects, depending on who like translated it and everything. I know some of them translated as we were a warring species and basically like not much above the animals where we were. And, supposedly they created-
couldn't control them.
And then, and then there's the other factor that they've gone in and some of these people are like, wait a minute, that's not warring. They were too connected with, basically they were too connected with nature, too connected with the land, and they couldn't not only control them, but they couldn't necessarily even defeat them if they wanted to.
And that's the war between the humans and the giants persisted.
Yeah. Or you could go in with
humans were killing them big.
Yeah.
You look through the ancestry of the American Indians. I don't care what tribe you're talking about. Their ancestry says giants. The reason they stick their hand up and say how, if they're asking how many fingers you got, motherfucker, because the giants had 6. They had 6, and they had 2 rows of teeth, and they ate humans.
Jack Carlos, they're not really, I mean, there's no scientific theory behind it. It's just a point of discussion. We all like looking into different things and different aspects.
Yeah, this Right. This is basically historical recreations of information from throughout the Anunnaki line of
Yes.
libraries.
Stuff that has
Yeah,
been
say they have
collected during off of the clay tablets the Sumerian clay tablets that they've been able to read, just different things that they wrote down.
They've
So-
uncovered the city of Ur, and they've found the caches left behind by the Atlantean societies. Yes,
Do you think that buried city was Ur? I know a
think
lot of people because that city, there was a city, I can't even remember what they're calling it, but a lot of people think it was Ur.
Are you talking about the
UHR,
one
by
in
the way.
Iraq? You're talking
Yeah.
about the one in Iraq?
Oh,
Yeah,
that
to where
one.
actually it looked like nobody lived there at all.
No, they
just
knew what
basically
that
built
was.
it.
They knew what that was, and
A
there
library.
was exactly.
Yep.
The
All the
technology,
carvings.
all the stuff was in place. They had finally found the tunnels, and Saddam Hussein was going after it. Why do you think they emptied out the archives of the historical societies and museums?
No,
They
yeah,
emptied them out.
it is. Well, and it is kind of weird how a lot of the terrorists went in and started destroying so much stuff in museums.
Yep.
Which made no sense because a lot of the stuff they were destroying had nothing to do with religion
or war.
Yeah.
Or war.
So it made
It
no
was
sense
all
why they're
artifacts dug up out of the lost city of Ur.
right.
And they found the libraries. Yes.
I don't know. Jack, Carlos, I'd like to see more research done into it. I think they don't get traction because a lot of it's been interpreted to death, and each person that has interpreted it different. So we're not sure necessarily. I mean, a lot of people, they'll pick Sitchin, they'll pick somebody else.
Like I said, I'm not going to buy necessarily the translation.
I don't really buy much in the Sitchin.
Yeah, I'm not a big
Sitchin,
Sitchin fan.
I really haven't found much of his stuff, except for that.
Interpreted it correctly.
Except for the references that others have made to his work. I
He's the
really
one that
haven't
believes-
studied Sitchin because I didn't trust he was. I didn't trust he was apolitical. I should say.
Right. And he's the one that tried to make it sound like they were gods on earth, and then some older translations back in the I think it was in the 80s, a group came in from like Columbia University or something like that, and they worked out a translation, and instead of gods, it was basically like them calling them managers or bosses. They were the slave drivers. They weren't gods.
They were the angels.
That's what some people say. Yeah.
They stopped calling them giants or men of renown or sons of heaven.
Yeah.
That's what they called them.
Did you follow any of the reports about the giants of Sardinia?
Say what?
Did you guys follow any of the reports of the red-haired giants from Sardinia?
Sardinia,
or whatever it is.
There's been a lot of Grecian myths about giants.
Well, apparently there's a. I'll have to link it up, but
yeah, please do. I like all the stuff.
Well, those are the ones. Okay, I'll give you a reference. What he's talking about.
The man-eaters.
I can give you a connection. The statues of the bearded man in South America that is found everywhere. The bearded man, and nobody knows why it's there.
Oh, yeah.
Red-haired giants.
Yep, the red-haired giant. Like the red-haired pharaohs.
Yep.
Sorry, I switched, but yep, the red-haired giants. Well, and Native Americans had so many. Juan Carlos, I couldn't put a percentage on it right now because I don't have the facts in front of me to prove that they were there. So I would have to say 0, but at the same time, that's not giving enough credence because I believe there's a lot of truth to testimony that's told, sent down during generations of generations, you know, the story's told. So in that, I give it a lot of credibility. You know, maybe it switched a little bit through generations, but on the science side, I don't have the facts in front of me. So 0. So I guess meet in the middle, 50%. I
And you
don't
know what?
know.
I follow the storyline, but I don't know that I trust everything being said either. That's my basic point. And what I do is I consume information and stories and tales and legends like this, and I look for similarities in other tales, legends, and so
I
on.
do that a lot too. Yep. And
And
then when
where
you
I
get things
find
that are
similarities, if I can get 3 of these opposites to connect somehow, then there I find the truth. That's what I call it.
especially, oh, sorry.
Go ahead.
Oh, especially with hieroglyphs. Hieroglyphs tell massive detailed stories. And anywhere, you know, and the thing is that they are not just in Egypt. I mean, there are glyphs everywhere around the world, and a lot of them were, you know, were at times when supposedly man had not traveled the oceans. So I agree with you completely on that. When they match up and they're from different parts of the world at a time to where world travel was not a thing, it gives some credibility to it, you know,
Or at
that
least
there
not in
was
our current histories.
yeah, that we know. And
Right.
I
But you
I
look,
honestly, oh,
look,
sorry.
no. Go ahead. Go ahead.
I
The only thing I was going to add there is though other histories have it in it, like the Sanskrit
Yeah.
in India. They've got massive amounts of aerial battleships and wars that took place in the skies using
Right.
weapons of light, sun power.
Right.
Yeah.
And that's it. It was more of a natural sense of science or a natural what's it? Everything was run off of natural sources, crystalline stuff like that is what they discuss in a lot of that. Even when you look at, you know, biblical terms, you know, the
Right.
the Vimana, things like that. How would have they known something could fly through the air, just floating through the air, you know, and have a complete description of it that somewhat matches what people have seen today? And for Jack, I'm not saying this is true or this is false or whatever. I'm just saying it gives credence to that it needs more investigation done to it, I think, and everybody needs to investigate it themselves, in my opinion.
And yes, I know what you mean. There were drawings that were found in a library in Asia somewhere, and it's supposedly of the ancient. Uh, it was some kind of ancient design thing, but when looked at from a technical schematic kind of view, kind of perspective, they look like a particle accelerator.
Well, here's a creepy thing. In 1923, in southern Colorado, and it hit newspapers, and you could still find newspaper articles. If you search online, you can still find the newspaper articles from the caves that they found stuff in. And a lot of the explorers and a lot of the initial scientists, they are talking about how they found bones of giant men. They were talking about how they found Egyptian artifacts. They found Grecian artifacts. And this is in Colorado in 1923. And this is something that was would have been sealed up for a long time before they found their way into it. And then they invited the Smithsonian in. Once the Smithsonian got in there, it was dropped, and a lot of people started running retraction stories that, oh, it was a hoax. It didn't happen. It was a hoax. But all these papers supposedly were playing the same hoax. So I don't know. I don't see it. To me, I think it gives credibility that people need to look into this stuff a little more. And to this day, there's parts of the Grand Canyons in southern Colorado that you cannot, like if you're rafting down the Colorado, You cannot get off the boat for more than a couple of minutes and everything, and they are watching it. There's literally guards,
Now,
like
why is
people out there
that?
patrolling. Yeah, and tell me why they
No,
would be locking
why
them.
is that? Yeah.
They don't really give a reason. They said it's federally protected property.
Oh wow. Okay. Well, that's different.
Right.
Huh.
Hey, Diesel,
Diesel.
welcome in.
Hey, Diesel.
Sorry.
Oh, I was just saying hi, Diesel.
Yeah, me too. But
Here, I'll
I
post
mean,
this up and
these things are being revisited. Everything's a repeat. Nothing in this world that is happening today has happened many times in the past.
It could possibly be. I on all my readings and everything, and just looking at, I mean, the megaliths, a 3,000 ton megalith found on an island in the Pacific Ocean. It's an eastern island. I can't remember, not eastern island. It's not one of Vietnam's. I think it's maybe a Cambodian island, one of the islands close to Cambodia. And there's a 3,000 ton megalith that they were carving out of the stone. And there's others that were actually moved from that quarry. 3,000 tons, not 3,000 pounds, 3,000 tons. We couldn't move those today. How in the heck? I mean, forget about what they did with the pyramids. How in the heck could people back then, 4,000 or 5,000 years ago, move a 3,000 or even the 300 tonners that are in Japan? How could they move those?
yeah, that is, yeah.
I don't know. And I agree. Extraordinary claims require extraordinary evidence. We're not making any claims. We're discussing what's already out there, what other people are talking about, and that we want to find the evidence. We want to go out there and look, find it if it's there. I don't think Jack is buying what he thinks we're selling, but we're not selling anything. We're just discussing what we've read.
Right. We're just truth seekers,
Yeah.
sharing our experiences.
Legit
Okay.
truth seekers. We want to know.
Yeah.
So not just discarding everything. And that's what I found out in this world. Everything has a hint of truth. I mean, politically, typically, if something gets brought up, it's probably just gone ape shit by one side or the other, making up this or that. But historically, even through the stories that are handed down from generation to generation, there's always some truth, a glimpse of truth there that needs to be looked into.
Yeah. You see this? Did you ever look up Michael Tellinger? Like I asked you.
I did. I didn't read it. There's a paper. I don't know exactly if it was about him or from him.
See, I can't listen to Michael Tellinger only because of the fact that a lot of his stuff sounds really tinfoil hatty.
Well, I'm guessing he's an ancient aliens theorist type of guy.
No.
No.
He's researching. No, what he's researching is the events during the period of time of Inky. What he's finding, he found Adam's calendar and all those circles in the desert that seem to be energy circles somehow. And they're all connected. It's like a giant circuit board pattern all over the damn landscape.
Jack, we've all had skepticism in it. We've all said we don't know. We want to learn. I don't understand what the relevance of your statement is because we haven't made an absolute claim on anything. Yeah, please come up. It'd be good to have a
sure.
And trust me, I'm skeptical. Yeah. I'm skeptical on everything. If I can't speak, sorry.
Oh, go ahead. No, I'm the same way. I'm a skeptic.
But I refuse. I refuse to comply with an ideology. If I don't know everything about it, shut it down.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, if I don't know that much about it, I'm going to study it. I'm going to find out.
exactly. And I'm going to study it until I can find something definitive that I can hold in my hand and say, here it is, and everything. Until then, I think it needs a further look. And I think people need to look into it and investigate it. I can't say if there was giants or not, or wasn't giants. I don't know. I know that there's people that talk about them throughout history in all sorts of areas in history on every continent through history. They
Every
talk about
time region.
giants.
And every
Yeah.
time region.
So, I mean, there's always a little bit of truth. It could have been just a tribe of, 7-foot tall men that were just naturally taller than others. It could have been 10-foot tall, 20-foot. I don't know.
But the lore of the Indians, the American Indians, I don't care what tribe you talk to, the ancients talk about how there were giants and they would attack and eat the people. And there was a great war and they killed off all the giants.
Yeah. Defer to the experts. That's something I have an issue with, especially since the experts
Fuck
throughout
the
history,
expert.
and it's provable the so-called expert. Okay, here, defer to the experts on Egypt. Okay, the archaeologists are considered the experts, but the geologists, who are also experts, are now not allowed to go in and do any studies anywhere in Egypt because they proved that there was water deterioration on the Sphinx and on several of the smaller pyramids, not Khufu, but several of the smaller. So this means that within that local region, there would have had to been a mass body of water. And this is geologists, experts. So
On a real note, fuck Zahi Hawass.
yeah.
I'm just
So
gonna,
which
gonna throw that out there.
Have you seen what the guy, did you see the guy that found the pyramids in Bosnia? They wouldn't grant him or even allow him to do anything. He just went and started doing it. They pulled his credentials and everything, so he went and got private funding, and they're still pulling out. They're researching these pyramids and stuff like that. I forgot the guy's name.
Jack, you yourself are questioning their credentials of geologists that went over there. So it's okay to question the geologist's credentials that have spent a life in that field, but it's not okay to the archaeologists, because archaeologists and geologists are at a head. They disagree about the timeline that the pyramids were built. So for you to definitively say that we got to trust the archaeologists, well, that's discounting what the geologists have to say. So you, and what you said, you just said what you said we were doing. We're discounting the archaeologists because the archaeologists are doing it over best guess. And throughout the years, when I was growing up, it was the best guess. That's kind of what they thought, because they thought that's when the hierarchy of a certain family was in there, and that's kind of what they went off of what they're reading. The geologists went in with sound science and said, okay, this is weatherization on this from water in this desert area.
They're physical evidence people. Okay, they say I found this, and they give all the evidence for it.
Right.
And then they say the most
I
logical.
would like to bring up Diesel's mud floods thing and throw out the Tartarian Empire. I mean,
I don't know nothing
whatever
about that.
bro, look into that. That's a deep dive right there. Looking into the Tartarian Empire. Whoo,
Okay,
buddy.
Michael Tellinger was finding mountains made of body parts.
Oh yeah.
They pulled a heart, a rock, a stone.
Oh,
it
that
was
worked.
a fucking heart, and it was the size. It was taller than he was.
Now, see, I saw some of that. Okay, I know exactly what you're talking about now. That's in South Africa.
South Africa, yeah.
Yeah. Okay, yeah, some of that is hard to explain. I haven't looked up into it enough to have a definitive, opinion on it. But I saw some videos on it. A friend of mine said, because he's hardcore. He believes aliens were here, or not aliens. He believes giants were here. He doesn't believe in aliens at all, but he believes giants were here and everything like that. So, I mean, he always sends me this type of stuff. I watch it sometimes. Where did Jack go? I wanted to tell him that I believe in the physical science that they can put in front of me of the geologist more than the guess of an archaeologist, and he left us.
Right. Well, I guess he just figured he couldn't shut us up.
I like discussions like that because none of us are up here saying this is how it is, this is how you got to believe. We're giving our impression of different things we've read to give other people to where they can go out and look for it to get their own impression of
Correct.
things.
We're just
what-
going through
that's
information, trying to make sense of it, kind of thing.
Yeah, exactly. And then talking to other people that have, read into similar things to get their views on it. We all have different views. I truly think that there was technology we wouldn't understand from a while back, and I don't know whether the floods or whatever, if it was long ago. I think there was some technologies that we don't understand for some of the megaliths and some of the stone carvings and stuff like that, that they're proving. They've always told us that, like, okay, the Romans, there's places in Mesopotamia where the Romans had built, and there's even in Rome that actually the Romans built on pre-existing megaliths. And they were
Right.
trying to tell us that this stuff stems back to 800 BC when the Romans were first starting to build up big, which actually they're not the Romans. Romans were a little province that the sea people, I can't remember what they're called, actually took over, and
Atlanteans?
they called the ancients, ancient Romans, and them called themselves the sea people, because the Romans were actually the Latins, and then the people that actually conquered Rome, which was just a little tiny city state, they actually conquered Rome and then adopted the Rome.
They gave way to the Spartans. Yeah.
And but they called it the sea people, and actually the Egyptians have a similar thing about the sea people, and so do some Southeast Asia groups have a thing about the sea people, that these people, they call them sea people, and they came through and basically just demolished what was in front of them and took over. And like the ones in Egypt that they talk about, it were actually I don't think it was the Phoenicians. God, let me pull my laptop up. This is going to bug me. No,
the Moors.
No, this is actually, and this is a crazy thing. They teach it, and this is actually written history. It's on. Give me a minute for my laptop to come up. It'll probably take me a minute to find it, but yeah, it's interesting as could be, because there were, how Italy is now, there was like 8 different tribal zones in there, and they show it as the Romans kind of pushed, or they tell it as the Romans kind of pushed down and took everything over, but it wasn't actually Rome fell to the other one, then became Rome. So Rome existed before Rome was a thing. You see what I'm saying? Yeah.
Yes. Before the empire, there was a republic. Yes.
And then the Latins, after Rome fell, they got pushed over to the southeast tail of Italy. And then once Rome expanded, and see, when they did that, when they took over Rome, they basically adopted their language, adopted everything, and it just influenced them all being together. And a lot of the Latins actually moved to southeast, and then that's where you get when Rome expanded. That's where you get the larger amounts of Latin and stuff like that involved in the Roman language. Sorry, I was babbling.
No, you weren't. You were giving a seminar.
Long seminar.
Right.
I forgot to
It's all
breathe.
good. But I'll tell you what, if you look at some of the earlier work of Tellinger before they got into the mountain body parts and stuff,
Mm-hmm.
there was a woman that was talking with, and she uncovers like half the tip of Africa. They got these giant lines, looks like a fucking garden from space.
Yep.
Goes on for hundreds of kilometers, had a watering system and everything. In fact, a river ends there now.
Yep.
And so I'm
There's
just saying,
something underneath, is what you're thinking?
No, that was the Gardens of Eden.
Oh, I got you.
Well, remember there was a place of milk and honey?
Yeah.
And all that stuff? Well, maybe that's what that was.
That very well could be. Well, and they say that Africa was the origination of all man. So I mean, science even says that. So who knows? The Garden of Eden might have been there.
What,
I'm
Cape,
sure I'll
the Cape Horn or whatever it is?
No, the entire southern tip to include
Oh,
like
the-
5 or 6 countries.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, you look at
Yeah.
it from space. These lines go on for hundreds and thousands of kilometers.
This
if you
is
take like
true.
the southern half of Africa, that's where a lot of that spans, from what I can understand.
And from space, it looks like a garden has been rowed out, like a farm.
Oh, how
Uh-huh.
about those? How about those aerials with the lidar that they did over in Africa? Because they teach us that in Africa, they've all, in like Central Africa, that the Egyptians were the only really big thing there, any somewhat developed and everything. And now they've got a kink thrown into all their things, because in Central Africa, where a lot of the tribes were and everything, they're finding basically bases that would have been like stone, almost castle structures or city structures and stuff like that. So now all of our history is kind of from that area and that time is getting sent into a little bit of a loop, because these would have, dated at the same time or predated even possibly some of the pyramids.
And the stuff from India,
Yeah. Yep. So I mean,
Bathsheba and all that stuff. Yeah.
mhm. Yeah.
Fine
And I'm
carpet.
by. Oh, sorry.
Go ahead.
And I'm in no way saying this is fact, but it leads one to wonder, what if, of the most bizarre scenarios and everything that you think about it, this is a what if. I have nothing to back it up or whatever, it's merely speculation. What if we truly are the aliens here? The human race, what if we are the aliens here? And
That's what I used to say. Wait till they find out we are the aliens on this planet.
right. And even then it goes back into some of the, Devonians, the pygmy type people they're finding in the Asian islands. I can't remember what they're calling them, but they were only about, like, at their max height, they're only about 4 foot tall. And they're finding skeletal remains that were like they're finding like knuckles and like small skeletal remains because of breakdown, because it was a long time ago, like with the Denovians and stuff like that, some of the first species of man that they say. Right. And I think there's 8 of them, right? 7 or 8 that we know of.
What do you mean, families of man?
Yeah, the original.
The black, white, 6? Red, yellow, blue, green.
But I mean, the ones that they're finding with the Denovians, like up in Russia and Siberia, because before Homo sapien came around, there was Neanderthal, there was. Trying to think. Actually, it was
Iceman, and all that stuff, right?
Yeah. There's all sorts of different. They're finding out there's all these subgenus of humans prior to us.
Yeah.
And everything. So it's interesting. And then you look at it, and we all have a small percentage of Neanderthal DNA. You look at it, the Homo sapiens basically came out of nowhere. Then they bred with the Neanderthals, and the Neanderthals died off, speculatively from possibly disease that the Homo sapiens brought or something like that. But it could have just been they bred and got us.
Well, you know what? And the story tells itself in the DNA of a human too, because it's obvious if you look at their DNA versus natural DNA, it appears our 2 chromosomes have been joined together.
I represent that statement, yo.
What was that, Emerald?
Thank you.
Emerald?
Oh, I was saying that if you look at the very nature of our DNA, it appears it's been modified from its original
Here's
form.
your missing link, Dallas.
Oh, there's actually there's several missing links, Dallas, in our DNA. They cannot on the DNA structure. It's not all Homo sapien, and that's where they're finally finding some of the answers, like with the Denovian. Now it's not like we're 5% one, we're 5%. I mean, this is like 0.0001%. You know, it's like minuscule amounts and everything. So those were probably most likely, in my opinion, lost tribes or lost peoples before the Neanderthal, and they're what led to the Neanderthal. So in the minuscule amount of Neanderthal DNA that we've got in us, I'm guessing that has minuscule parts of DNA from like the Denovians. God, I need to remember. Huckleberry wants a link.
Oh, okay.
I've sent many links.
Oh, here you go, Lord Skoldrazer. We actually have some similar DNA to bananas. And you can look that up.
That sounds suspect.
Look that up. You can look up about the similarities that human DNA has with bananas. And it's a fact. I thought it was BS the first time I got it brought up to me, and I looked at it and I was arguing it. There's no way. Debating
You're
it for like
a damn banana.
And then I looked it up. It's like, son of a bitch. I was wrong. It's like, that's just weird.
Dallas, the droplets. The droplets.
And I was like telling the guys, like, dude, you're on crack. That's just messed up. There's no way. He's like, I'm telling you, you're going to regret saying all this stuff. I did. I had to go back later.
Apparently, we're also related to the shrew or something like that, too.
Well, it depends on what you define as, I mean, from a certain sense, like a biblical sense or not. From if you believe completely in evolution, then yes. And I think evolution at its core is very flawed. Am I still on?
Yeah.
Oh, you're still here.
I think evolution at its core is definitely flawed, because how I was taught with evolution and how they still teach it, it's everything evolves together. You can't have an existing species that something else evolved out of. So it would have all evolved, or else something, part of it would have devolved and part of it would have evolved. So if we came from monkeys, there would not be any monkeys. They would all either join the humans in evolution, or they would have devolved into something else. So unless there was something in between that we evolved from, and they devolved and we evolved, then
unicorns.
That in evolution, in the evolutionary theory, would make sense. But as they explain it now, it just doesn't.
I was a proud
I think there's been a whole lot of,
before I was a human being.
I think there's been a whole lot of screwing going on this planet. Got some freaky.
There is that. And then who's to say we're not like our form of Homo sapien isn't like some genetic malformation from incest breeding from Neanderthals? I'm just saying.
You know, from Adam's rib and from the dirt of the earth, if you look at it biblical. So it all works out. You know, any way you look at it, biblical, scientific, it all can work out.
When you really boil it down, someone had to bone their mom. It's true.
That only you, Apex, would go that direction with.
Look, I'm just saying, from a biblical standpoint,
I am concerned
to do the dirty with the mama.
I am concerned about not only your mental health, but now I'm concerned about your mother. Is she okay? No.
Oh man. She's
Right?
cool.
No, I'm just joking. That was rude of it. Yeah, only
Went
you
to
would go
fuck
that
your mama
direction.
last night, but the line was too long.
That's yeah. I've never broken it down and thought of it that way. I know.
Right.
Yeah, that's interesting. Interesting outlook. Thanks for the nightmares.
You're
Appreciate
welcome.
But yeah,
But it's okay because God made it all right with the first when he flooded the earth, right?
Cleaned out some of them, but then it was just a few after that too. So
You're right, yeah.
Noah and his family mainly, and all others drowned. So, and actually, that's another. Excuse me. I'm smoking cigars, so I got some of the Emerald's type of little cigars. They're only like $2 a pack, so it's like, yeah, I'll smoke those.
right.
Liz, I might need to have you send me a carton through the mail.
It'd probably be cheaper still.
Yeah. I can't find those ones that I got, the Stampedes.
Yeah.
I can't find those here in Indiana, at least not around where I'm at.
Right.
All they got are like those like $2 a pack Cheyennes. And I'm not really a big fan of Cheyennes. They don't taste all that good.
Yeah,
they
they
got
take-
nicotine though.
They taste fake. If you get the plain ones, the light ones,
Yeah.
then they're not bad.
We get one of these bots in here at least once a night, I think. Maybe twice. This
They just ban
want to
those straight
become
out.
famous? First off, if you have to buy your fucking followers, then
That's
you're
not
not
becoming
that damn
famous.
interesting.
Right. That's not becoming famous.
Oi.
Speaking of which, have I run any followers off yet tonight? Are we still holding pretty good, or what are we at?
Oh no, we good. We're still holding at 14. We were
14?
20, but we're at 14 now, which is okay.
There we go.
We can make that back up.
People,
I know
A lot
what
of-
brings people in. Hang on.
they come for the weed and they get upset when you give a different theory. Some give upset, challenge. If you challenge what they're told is how it is, and some people get offended at that, and on all sides, and they don't keep that open mind about everything.
There we go. This is how we fix this. Throw some tits up.
And I'm sorry,
Okay, I mean, went tits up on us.
but
Uh-oh. Oh, it tits up. Oh, man.
I look at it this way: if you're
Mickey Mouse ears.
trying to get my
Whoa,
dogs to eat again,
huckleberry.
so they're like-
Spam is delicious when you cut it up real thin in slices and fry it up.
Oh, I can't stand them. Nasty.
Spam is amazing.
Ugh.
I wouldn't say it's amazing. I would say it's unbelievable.
Spammity spam, spam,
Okay,
spam, spam.
I'll just say this: I'm not a fan. There we go.
They got jalapeno. Did you know there's a Korean barbecue spam?
No.
Yeah. Oh yeah. It was a thing.
Spam.
There's
Spam.
a spam museum,
Wow.
and I can't remember where it's at, but there's a spam museum, and they've got like all the different types from around the world on display and on sale.
An eighth of a pound of ham, and a half a pound of preservatives. There's your
Yep.
spam. That's your
Sounds
spam.
about right.
Basically, ham fat.
Yeah. Yeah. And then there's that jelly in the bottom, and it's delicious.
That's the juice they took from cooking the ham. Yeah.
Yeah, smoky spam is good. The jalapeno and also the black pepper spam is pretty good too.
My
Oh yeah, that is. It's in Minnesota. Now, I need to talk to the people in Ontario real quick. All right, because y'all got me fucked up when I was there. First off, it is the only place I know that has a shoe museum. Now, let me back this up. I had to think really long and hard before I went into that place because how high am I going to have to be? And not only that, but will I survive the amount of weed that I will have to smoke in order to go into Ontario's Shoeseum? I just throwing that out there. The fuck
I don't know.
Ontario.
You're so stoned 90% of the time, I wouldn't know what you were sober.
It is a Shoeseum, though. Yeah. It's a real place where all of your shoe dreams can come true.
That's right. Auschwitzes have museums like that with like all the clothing that was taken off of the prisoners.
Yeah. They've got a mini pile in Washington, D.C. at the Holocaust Museum. By the way, it's a bad idea to tell Anne Frank jokes at the Holocaust Museum.
I'm guessing probably.
I would not suggest it. You get really shitty looks thrown at you.
I'm guessing the majority of us would probably not do that. Think of not doing that prior to entering.
Well, I mean, recreational weed is legal in DC, so it's gonna be there out there.
Yeah. Way to go, Apex.
No Holocaust jokes. No. I would never make one of those. My grandfather died in the Holocaust, falling out of the guard tower. Sorry.
Apex gets stoned in DC and pisses off an entire nation.
That would be perfect. That would be perfect. I
We lose
mean,
Emerald?
no, I'm not sure. I think Emerald's still here. Em, you here?
Yeah, I'm still here.
Oh,
Well, fire in the bowl.
Yeah, there you go. Fire in the bowl.
you gonna make it?
Nope.
Oh,
Not gonna make it.
So we might have to do one of those programming signals that temporary issues while Apex recovers from his coronary. Technical difficulties. We'll be right back after this.
The door was left open. Hey, Nightingale, what's up? Hey, you need to jump up into either Twitch or up here on panel, Nightingale. Just saying.
Nightingale, are you Native American? I was curious if she was, what tribe she was from. I'm always interested in a lot of the Native American lore. There's always a grandfather that told stories about this or that. And so much of that is neat to hear. I've had good friends, and you get some of their grandparents, or one of them had a great grandpa, and I think they were Kiowa, and when he would talk about some of the stories passed down and stuff like that, they're really cool. And that's where I first learned that they believe themselves to be, they're kind of like the Hopi. They believe themselves that they were hidden away underground and then were brought out by the deities after everything was clear. Like there was something, Earth was not livable for some reason. And then they were brought out by the underground people. I don't know. Some of that stuff's just interesting. The stories they have. Anybody?
I'm sorry. I lost track. I was typing eat more pie.
Emerald, help me out here. Can you, or not? Apex can't hold his train of thought. He done smoking some food.
I can't hold his train of thought either.
Because
down the track,
potato.
Dude, it's down the track and around the bend. He's gone. I can't hold his train either.
I need to. By the way, I need to address Natural Nation. Arg! I'm right there with you on the pirate. Hey, Classy, TX Classy's in here.
Oh shit! Hey, what's up, Classy?
Hey, TX.
Natural. This is why we've got winches and mead, bro. This is all the love that the pirate needs. Winches and mead. The hook gets in the way. Well, I mean, that hook's interchangeable with other things.
That's okay, Schumer and Pelosi. That's okay, Schumer and Pelosi. As long as you're respectful and enjoy a good conversation. No worries. Now, if you believe communism is a good idea, you're going to catch a lot of hell here because none of us think communism is a good idea.
You know what's funny is that I've got a 7 o'clock alarm set for Aaron the Tire's chat, and the alarm tone is a techno version of Soviet Russia, the Soviet Russian anthem. Is that bad? It comes on with like the techno, Soviet Russian anthem, and then it says Aaron the Tires is online.
That's really weird.
Yeah, that's completely weird, Apex. What's going on?
The fuck is wrong with you?
He did bump his head last week. He had a head injury recently. He did have a head injury recently.
Oh, okay.
We'll let him slide on this one. But yeah, no shit, dude.
See, I'm not sure Natural Nation's actually all that natural.
I got all the wood cut up for that swing bench I got sold.
Oh, that's cool.
Yep, got it all painted up, cut up and painted up. And tomorrow I'll be putting that together to get that delivered. Hopefully by Wednesday.
There you go.
So I found out something interesting. People like me that are trying to hold a line in the center and trying to get people to come together. And Emerald, you might watch out for this too, because you're trying to bring people together too. We're getting nailed hard with all sorts of crap. So just a heads up.
What do you mean?
they're shutting down chats, they're shutting down all sorts of stuff. And I don't know why you think that'd be a good thing. People trying to keep everybody, unite everybody and everything, keep everybody together, but they're coming down on all of us hard. I know
Well,
a few friends that have gotten their computers fried and everything, and I'm still not 100% sure what happened to my laptop and all sorts of stuff.
Right. No, I got you.
So
Yeah.
just be careful.
Huckleberry, the
People like
jungle's
us,
in
they
here.
don't like.
Well, I'm here till I can't. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I got you. I just wanted to give you a heads up from things I found out are going on. So
Well, I mean, with my connection, it's a little more difficult for them to get that. I guess. You know what I'm saying?
yeah,
But with the way I think, I've got things connected. But the average person, yeah, you get on the net, you get on a public network, and you're going to be fried. Yeah.
and I thought I was pretty well set up. And if it turns out that my laptop was something else, that's spooky because I mean, we've discussed it. I was geared up for Bear. I shouldn't have had anything like that happen. I mean,
Right.
So it wasn't if I did, it wasn't just some little punk sitting in his parents' basement type of thing. It was somebody I don't like very much. So not trying to sound like, oh, they're out to get me, but if that turns out, I don't even know if that's what turns it out. It's just I know people I talk to, they have had problems, and when I was bringing up my laptop and everything, they're like, oh crap, get it checked out for this, or this, and it's like, why?
Yeah,
And
if
they're
the
telling me what's
VPN
going on.
puts up a red flag if you have a VPN connection.
I've got the router and the computer.
Right. I mean, you can layer your routers. You know what I'm saying? So,
Yeah, I got the double VPN, so hell, I can make it look like I'm in Taiwan or something if I wanted to. Should be able to. That they've got workarounds for all that. That's why I don't know if you remember Lou, but he asked me. He's trying to mess with me. He's like, "So you're in Kansas, huh?" I was like, "Oh, you're getting closer." And then he tried again. "So you're in New Mexico, huh?" You're getting closer. So yeah. That was before I told anybody I was in Colorado. So
right. Yeah, no, it's just, yeah, crazy. But no, I just put it all out there, and I'm here till I'm not. You know what I'm saying?
that's what I'm saying. I'm not going to shut up. I'm not going to talk any different.
Right.
But apparently, if you're really far to one side or the other, apparently that's fine. You can talk about hurting people and everything. But if you're somebody in the center, they're going to call you right wing, or the other side's going to, the far side's going to call you communist, or or something like that. And both sides come at you, and then you got, and apparently libertarians get nailed pretty bad for both sides too. That's what made me think about you. And you got both sides coming out, and then the powers that be definitely don't like. Yeah. But it makes sense. Right. They don't want us united.
Yeah, I fit a lot of those red flag categories. I just don't happen to be in their totalitarian zone. Yeah. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I just don't happen to be in their zone. I got out.
And I am behind enemy lines. I am in a bad area for, But actually, I'm in a good area.
I got the fuck out, dude. There's no good area in a place that starts with city of. There is no good place in there. I'm telling you. If it says city of whatever, it's not a good place to be.
Right. Well, shit, and they're paying $200,000 for $65,000 houses here. So, I mean, I'm gonna make a killing when I sell this. So it's like, all right, I'll, you want to pay that much for it? I'll sell mine. And I've got people calling me and asking me and everything. people from out of state, people from up in the Front Range are buying them sight unseen and paying a fortune for them.
Well, you can get places down here in the Ozarks for, you can get a pretty damn big place for $100,000.
Nice. Well, I don't owe anything on this. So if I sell it, it's all, don't get me wrong. I mean, yeah, I put money into it, buying it, and then a bunch of money into it, renovating it, and still got a little renovation left. But yeah, so whatever I get, I would get it.
Well, you know where to go.
Yeah.
Have
I'm seriously
you
thinking
looked at
about it.
any-
I wouldn't.
Have you looked at any listings out this way?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. My problem is right now without selling, the ones I could get are 20 acres, 10 acres, like that. You know, like literal to where I could actually not have to get a loan and go pay for it, you know, right now.
Right. But you're talking about buying it outright and building a house outright.
Yeah. Now, if I sold here, then I would be able to get one of those, 500 acre or whatever plots, or even 100 acres or
Right.
whatnot.
That's what I'm talking about. Well, in the sale, you stay in a hotel for a week until the check's clear.
Yeah.
And then you turn around and get you a camper, pull behind it on your truck, set everything to storage. You know what I'm saying? And head out.
And actually, I am looking at an auction right now and watching several fifth wheel campers. So yeah, I'm definitely one way or another. We're probably going to end up selling this place. I'm gonna get that to where I could get acreage somewhere.
Right.
But here, the cheapest I can get it is there's a couple that are close to small towns that I could get it like, for $1,000 an acre. That's the cheapest I can get it. Which is pretty cheap compared to a lot of places.
Yeah.
But my problem is I'd still be stuck in Colorado.
Right.
So,
But you can get
and I
remote.
don't, what's that?
You can get remote though.
Yeah. Yeah, right. And there's one county south of me that it's the population there. If you took every man, woman, and child, where the population is so sparse there, every man, woman, and child, there is like 1,500 acres that could go to every man, woman, and child in that county. That's how, and that's not even counting like state land, federal land. That's just privately owned land in that county. And it's not a massive county either. There's just not a lot of people in it. So, yeah.
Right.
I think there's 4,200 people in the entire county.
Right. Well, I mean, you got your options, man. At that
Right.
point.
I love the conversation that's going down in chat.
Talking
how to
about
tell
roofing.
if you're seasick or not.
Yeah, Natural Nation, I hear you. Yeah, I'm a sea-doo person. If I see it or hear it, I'll do it. If somebody's puking, it's like I cannot see it or cannot hear it, or I'm sitting there. Yeah.
But you're old now. Oh shit.
What's that?
Uncle Barry says she's old now.
Yeah.
Hello.
What's up,
Hey,
Joe?
Bill. Oh, hey, Tom.
Hey, what's good? What's good? What's good? What's good?
What's up, buddy?
Oh, you guys were talking such later. I mean, previous, right? Earlier. That's the other later. But what my question was about was why all the suppression of history and information and methods and I mean, what is the purpose of erasing technology or now, who's winning and what are they gaining by erasing the
Well,
information?
it's to control the spread of information is what it is. Or
Comes
not
down to
even.
one. Sorry. In my
Go ahead.
opinion, it comes down to one thing: money. If you control the history, you control the tech, you control the money.
This is true. Yeah.
So then I guess what I would have to say is that people have been very foolish to exchange what a status, a certain particular status by erasing such fantastic wisdom. Or, for a buck, they have given or erased, pure knowledge or whatever, or extreme knowledge or powers. I never understand how what could be the motivation that a person would have by hiding like free energy, you know.
Free energy, oil companies, electrical companies, coal plants, mining industry, you name it. There's all those that would be affected by free energy. That would be
Basically, it's the same reason why they outlawed cannabis, because it threatened the paper and the textile and all
it
all
threatened the
those
cotton
industries.
industry.
Yeah, that's why they made it illegal.
Man, I don't even know. I guess I just
Fuck William Randolph Hearst.
that's the type of thing that I just don't understand about humanity that somebody would be so
You can
impressed.
basically it boils down to if you can eliminate a person's history, who are they? They're who you tell them they are.
True.
You know.
And if you can tell them who they are, you can tell them what they want to purchase, what they want to
Believe.
Yeah. And it's very sad that people would do so much for money. That throughout history, I mean, people have abandoned their families for money. They've abandoned, it's sickening. I would never, I would hope I would never. I say I would never, and I truly hope I would never. But money really doesn't mean, status doesn't mean shit to me. I don't care what the neighbors think about me. I could drive around a brand new pickup if I wanted to, but I saved that money and was able to put it in a roof over my head. So
Uncle Barry just said she could fly. She said she flew a couple times.
Sorry, I had to switch Bluetooth. No, God damn it. It's just that what I was thinking is the victor writes history, right? The victor writes history. So
That's true.
it's like
Yeah.
the concepts and the methods of cultures and things like that are erased by whoever has the bigger gun.
oh yeah.
That's baffling to me.
Look at Rome. Look at Rome for what, for 1,000 years, for 1,500 years, or probably 1,800 years, because I think it wasn't until the early 1920s. But everybody believed Rome was this golden age and everything, and they were this great, great nation and everything, and that the Gauls and the Germans were barbarians. That's where the term barbarian comes from, is what the Romans called them. And they thought they were that. And then it turns out, well, there was actually a political structure in these areas. It's just Rome wrote it as that to make it sound like they were taking out the evil barbarians, And for the longest time, that's all people had to go off, was that written history. That they were the victors and they wrote it to make themselves look better.
I mean, I got shocked by by a video that what Lady Liberty turned me on to about a year and a half ago, talking about how if you take a different look at the Nazis, that whole idea that if you take a different perspective of it, it's kind of easy to see that the victors wrote the history on that deal in its
Now,
entire. Yeah, well, I mean, it's all speculation. I get that, but what this thing is talking about is that like I have been taught completely backwards of what actually went on down there in the World War I and after World War I and World War II, with that Roosevelt was a dirty pig, and they were all in it together, and they were all capitalist greed monsters that wanted to destroy the uh, 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 I'm trying hard not to say the Jews, but what I mean is that their culture had a decent method of being, and I mean, the way they make it look is that man, this is difficult to explain without getting in trouble, but that the German people were oppressed by the prosperity of the Jews, and they needed to fix that or die, and they did. And then basically the whole entire premise of it was about the banking structure, and that the Jews had control of too much. And so, but anyway, I didn't mean to get all into that. What I'm getting at is how,
don't be
no,
afraid
actually,
to speak the truth, because that's actual historical truth that
I
people
well,
don't
to a
like
fact,
to listen to.
or to a point. Can I give my opinion on that? You guys
go
mind?
Yeah.
bail me out.
Actually, the Jewish people were a lot of civilian bankers. A lot of that, in my opinion, is from what I've read. I think it's misinterpreted that they controlled the money. They really didn't. It was local economies they helped out, and they were small bankers and stuff. But you had this centralized bank, the World Bank, that wanted to control everything. And
Yeah.
the Jewish people did have a lot of smaller banks and everything. But to drive them out, a lot of that was there was anti-Jewish. And it was all around the world that they were trying to spread it and everything. It took hold in Germany because of Hitler, but it was to drive them out of the banking industry so these world banks could have that hold on it all, because they would not go in with them or sell out to them. They were holding their own. So they had their fall guy right there as the Jewish people, because they wanted them out of business so they could control all that. The German people, unfortunately, they believed it because they were treated like crap but this was by the world banks. They were really nailed by the world banks because they would not give Germany any loans loans after World War One to help them out in any way, infrastructure or anything. So unfortunately, you got a psychopath like Adolf that came in and he preached, Germany, all for, this for that and everything. It's going to make everything great for us. And unfortunately, some of them fell for it. But there was still a lot of German people also that did not support the Nazi regime. And World War One sucks because actually their premier was shot, and that's what started World War One. And it was a lot of confusion to who ordered it and who because their Kaiser, you all know that the Kaiser was shot, and then they basically, that's what started World War One. It turned out to be very suspicious that several countries may have had something to do with it, but they basically took it out on Europe, and they went after Europe after, because the Kaiser there at that time was pretty popular. And when he was shot, most Germans during World War One rallied around their nation and everything, and that's what created that. But after that, is what led to the situation. And this is my opinion after the reading I've done. It seems like the World Bank wanted those smaller banking people out, and they wanted to control that, because you look after World War II, who took control of all of these nations over there? It was the World Bank. And the World Bank also funded Germany in their German war effort, and they funded all other countries against them. The same thing they did during the Napoleonic War. I mean, ever since the Napoleonic War, they funded both sides of every war.
In particular, Rothschild.
Yes, Rothschild. And I think a lot of corruption. The scary part is, if there is somebody above them, who in the heck could that be? That's the scary part. Who would?
I know, right? Yeah, so it all kind of ties together. What's with the suppression of information and power, and how does it relate to greed? And so then I want to bring it back into modern times. This is what's happening again, right? They're trying to suppress the entrepreneur, the small business, the self-sufficient person, the hobby farms, or what have you. You know, little start idea companies like mine, my tricycles or whatever. You know, I mean, it just seems like I'm seeing so many parallels with what was going on in World War II times as what's going on today.
And who's the bad guy supposedly holding everybody else down today in America? That's us. They're saying the white male basically is holding everybody else back and controlling everything, when the truth is completely the opposite. Just like it was when the Nazis claimed it was the Jewish people that were holding everybody down. It wasn't that. They were actually benefiting a lot of the local areas. It's just they were smaller bankers, and somebody else wanted that. Because for these world bankers and the Rothschilds, most is not good enough. They want all. And that's why, exactly like you said, they're driving the small business guy out, because they want to be super corporations, because those super corporations they can control a lot easier than every little guy scattered everywhere. They can control their loan rates, everything. Sorry.
No, man, that's what you're hitting on it. And this is what I'm saying. You know, I mean, it's impossible to move money without being identified, right? Or to own things without being identified, to have anything without everybody being in your pockets. And it really should be that way.
Yep. And well, look at society. I own everything. I don't make payments on anything. I'm actually, I feel comfortable. You know, I don't feel the stresses of debt. I don't feel, I mean, to be honest, I could work probably 5 hours a week and make it off of that. No more than I pay out. But I put a lot of time and a lot of long hours into that. But according to my, if you go by this credit score, since I haven't financed enough, my credit isn't that good. So I'm really not status-wise, I'm not up with these people that don't own anything, but their credit score is up. And that's what makes me so nervous about social credit, because it'll be this exact same thing. It's not what you worked hard for like it used to be. It's how much you're paying out to other people. You know, other rotten.
So I suppose that's the thing. How do we get away from all this subjective differentiation? Because there's a law, right? President Trump wanted to get in there and talk about a law and order, but now everything's subjective, right? Now, like you say, your social score, that's really subjective. That's open-ended, social. What does that mean? That would have to be really, identified. Like you say, there's one person worked his ass off, has what he needs, isn't got the credit card in his pocket, hasn't got the debt, so his social score is low. But that doesn't add up. And the other thing, like saying that now I'm abnormal because I'm not vaxxed, that's a completely subjective medical opinion that that
I
I don't
completely
understand
agree.
how I don't understand how we've gotten to the point where you know, legislation can be carried out based on what? An opinion, okay? It's a fucking opinion. One man's opinion shouldn't be able to guide my life.
Right.
Fauci says I gotta have a shot and I don't want one, then I'm an outlaw. And that did, yeah, you know what I'm saying, man. But
No, I completely agree. It goes to self-choice and stuff like that I completely believe in. It's personal choice. I'll run back to that social credit score and stuff like that. It worries me a lot also because basically to get your credit score, your monetary credit score up, it's a giant bribe. So you have to pay interest all this time to these companies to keep that up. It doesn't take into account how long you've had your job, how much you make an hour, how long you've been in your place of residence. It takes how many payments have you made on interest. So it's literally if you're not paying a bribe, so you're paying for this score constantly. If you're not paying extra money out for this score, then it's going to say your credit score is really low. Whereas, and the proof in the thing is, it's a joke to say, because a lot of people say bad credit's better than no credit. And to them it is, but that's proof right there that that's a joke. If a person has no credit, that they've never needed to finance anything, that should say more that they've got the ability to buy stuff than it does for the person that keeps reneging on loans. But it's not, because that person is already, they know that person can be easily sold on a higher bribe, higher interest rate and stuff like that. So of course they're going to get a better chance of losing. And that's
Right.
how social will become.
Yeah, that's how social will become. But get this, the credit card companies, if they cancel your account, okay, and I've had 2-3 credit cards just pull their credit card
sorry.
and then try to tell me, well, you got to pay us the rest of the money. And I was like, excuse me, you're the one that broke the contract. You
Right.
shut down and stopped servicing my account, and I was in good standing.
Yep.
Because you broke the contract, I don't have to follow it anymore. Goodbye.
Or
And I've never heard from them again.
Because if you broke that contract, you would add an early termination fee, I guarantee it. Or
Correct.
if you're not using it enough and holding enough of an interest rate, then they're going to start charging you a monthly fee.
Yep. And now, before I say that, I always say, is this phone call being recorded? Of course it is. Now, here's the deal. You broke the contract. I don't have to follow it anymore because you're in breach of contract. Goodbye. Do not contact me ever again. Goodbye.
right?
That's why I tell people, buy a used vehicle that you can save up for. Okay, you might have to get a little bit of a loan to get your first vehicle or get a vehicle so you can get to your job. Okay, do that. Don't go out and buy the newest, most expensive thing. Buy a used vehicle, get it paid off, run it until it doesn't drive anymore. Buy the cheapest house you can find that needs a little bit of work, or else buy the property. And if you got to get the loan, get it as for low as possible, and then put money into it without getting the loan. Just do it little by little.
Yep. Live within your means is what that's called.
Yep. I mean, I have people around me. My siblings are like me. They like to have everything. We've all got everything paid off. We've had loans in the past, but we've worked to pay them off quick. And then every one of us got nailed with a balloon interest payment at the end because of an early payoff penalty, is what they called it. You get an early payoff penalty. So they try to charge you for that interest for those 30 years anyways, 10 years. And I only got a 10-year loan, but we're all paid off. But I've got, no kidding, I got cousins and friends that are driving around brand new vehicles. They're living in a $200,000 and some house, and they come to me with my old 2002 Chevy 2-wheel drive pickup. They come to me to borrow money to be able to pay their electricity bill or something, So it's like, what is this gaining you having all this newer stuff when you guys can't do anything? If something happened, I've got money to where, an emergency came up, I could buy that hot water heater. I could do something like that. It's not a panic moment. I just, yeah, I don't get the whole, what is that? They call it better than you got to have better than your next door neighbor.
The Joneses.
Better
Keep it
than the
up,
Joneses.
Jones.
I
I've had all kinds of problems as an ironworker welder, man. Fucking, I'm dirty and I'm grubby and I look like hell. But man, I haven't been punching tickets at the theater all night either. And so, like for instance, this deal down here with this Line 3 pipeline, they got security guards all over the place, and they sit in their car all day long, every day, and it pays $26 an hour. That's more than I've ever gotten paid in my life for sitting on your ass. And they have a better social credit score than I do, right? And you see them walking around town, and they're so clean and they're so tidy and they're so, yeah, they don't do a fucking thing. How I mean, why are people looking at others like people just don't understand what other people do and go through, and it never pays off. I burn up my eyes and my knees and my skin, and I broke the bones and cut the skin, all that other good bullshit. Fuck, I could have been a security guard for my whole life, man, and just had a big fat ass and a big fat bank account. God, am I stupid?
I blew a lot of money on interest too when I worked on the rigs. I dated a girl from the Front Range years ago, and her friends, they all worked at like law firms. They're like, the assistant attorneys and stuff like that, and they all worked at like office complexes, and all these uppity people, and I hated hanging out with them. I mean, they were really condescending constantly because they knew I was from a small town. They saw me as the little poor guy of the group, and everything. And one time they were all talking about their wages. And I found out that, like, if you work as just basically a law clerk in a lawyer's office, apparently you only make about $35,000 or $40,000. And these guys were talking about 35, 40, 45, and they kind of scoffed and everything. And they're like, well, out there, what do you make? Like 15, 20? And their jaws dropped. And I literally had to prove it to them that I made over $100,000 a year working on the rigs. So, and I thought that was hilarious because they're all driving around this fancy cars. One had a BMW, one had a Jaguar, the other one had a Honda or something like that, but it was, a nice car. And they're all brand new, and I drove up my pickup. And they stopped at that, and it turns out I made double and almost triple what some of them did. And it just put them in their place, just boom, like that. Just because I don't appear to be making it, I am making more than you guys. You guys are just living a lifestyle that you shouldn't be living.
Right. That's I mean, that's how yeah, I don't think straight. Never mind me.
Well, I'm like you when it comes to that kind of stuff. Singularity. I had a Cadillac. I bought a '87 Cadillac DeVille. I bought it secondhand for like $500. I put $500 into it, and it was only 3 years old at the time.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? And I had so I'm driving around. Yeah, one of my cars was a Caddy. Okay. Another one was a full-size Chevy van. That was a toy. You know what I'm saying? I had a '94 Cougar, the XR7 model. Yeah. At the time.
I had a '96 at one time of the XR7.
Yeah, they were nice. They were nice cars, man. And you know, and I'm just like, you know, and then we had a minivan that when we wanted to take the kids, you know, we could hop in the minivan and go
Yep.
take off. And I still had my 58 Buick Special sitting in the driveway, and everything was paid off.
Yep.
That was
Yep.
my old cruiser car. You know what I'm saying?
And that's the best way to be. I don't have a big payment, and I still get to from point A to point B just as fast as you did. You know, that would be
Insurance
other
kicked
people.
my ass. Yeah, insurance kicked my ass, but that was the only
Yeah.
cost I had.
No. Yeah, insurance is my highest between health insurance, of course, is my highest payment. But now that's costing me a fortune. So actually, with that, I'd probably have to work an extra 10 hours a week to afford that. But
Well, there was a
car
point
insurance.
where, there was a
What's
point
that?
where I put it. I had borrowed 50,000. I was in big money. Okay, so I had borrowed out 50 grand that I got for 6 months, no interest.
Yeah.
Because I was that kind of signature guy, and I put it in a CD, and then I'd use it as a bond.
Oh, yep. Collect that
And-
2%.
Right. So we ended up, I think it was like 2.7 or 3.2 or something like that at the
Nice.
time. And so I put it in a 6-month CD and turn around, use the CD to secure a bond. And I didn't have to pay insurance for 6 months because the bond letter serves as your insurance.
Nice. Nice.
So turn around at the end of that, you take your profit, you pay back the loan at no interest, you do another one, and then you do it again. I didn't pay insurance for like 3 years.
Oh, nice. Nice.
Till the bankruptcy.
Yeah. Well, I told you when the rig shut down in 2009, I lost everything. And that's why I haven't financed anything since. And I had, even after I lost everything, my credit score before that was so high, I still had it in the 700s. I could have gone right back in and financed anything. But I was like, no, I'm done with banks. Because I had everything through Chase Financial. And I mean, when they come down on you, they come down on you fast. And
Oh, yeah.
they grab everything you got. And
You know who really goes crazy? American Express. Those
Oh, yeah.
bastards. Oh, they hate. Oh my God, you don't want those motherfuckers. They send shit to your door. They'll send people to your
Right.
doors.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Not me. They didn't even tell me they were coming to get stuff. I didn't even know the house was in the rears by a month and everything. And I was talking to him, told him I just got laid off, and the lawyer told me that was a mistake. And like within a week, my house was in the paper up for auction.
Wow.
And then later on, I had found another job that wasn't making as much, but I was, trying to get caught up for that month and a half, 2 months that I was off. I was trying to get caught up and everything, and my vehicles disappeared. Found out they were repoed. It's like, Jesus, you guys would have called me, and one of them, they even broke the glass to get into it on. It's like, if you guys would have called me, I would have probably handed you over the keys and everything, just be done with it. So it's just, it's insane. And I had everything paid way down too. Lawyer also told me that was my biggest problem. If I would have owed a lot on it, they would have worked everything out with
Yeah,
it.
they would have.
Yeah.
Well, you know what they did? The last people that I took a loan out on my house that I lost to the foreclosure. I was never late on a payment, by the way. But what happened was when I bought the house, we had gotten a VA loan. Well, we had a big amount of increase on the property because we fixed it up and values went up and all that stuff. We bought it in a detriment situation. And then we turned around, we refinanced it because we wanted to put windows and siding and all that stuff in it, right?
Yeah.
Well, when I refinanced and we did all that work, they had me borrowing an extra $10,000 on the loan. Well, what I did was I turned around and I paid it back in equity. In principle. Oh, they hated that. Oh my God. I only had 5 years left to pay on the house when they foreclosed on it.
Yeah. I had a 15-year loan, and I think I had 7 years left to pay on it. But like every year when I get my bonus, I mean, I at the end of every year, I'd kick in an extra $10,000 to $15,000 when I get the production bonus.
Right.
And a lot of months, you know, I was making at least 3 to 4 monthly payments worth every month. I mean, because, you know, I was single. I didn't have a lot of money going out. I was working on rigs. I was paying everything off fast just to get it paid off. So, and all that was lost. I look back at all that money now, too. If I could have kept them busy, or if the rig would have kept going one more year, I would have been fine. Everything would have been paid off. It would have been set and everything. But as it was, I wasted a shit ton of money on all that.
Right.
And that's just sickening to think about that.
Well, you figure 8 years at over 100,000 a year. That's
Right.
it's a kick in the gut.
14 years I paid on that house. 14 years, never late on a payment, always made extra payments. You know, that kind of thing. Like I said, I was in there 14 years. I only had like 5 years left to pay on it.
Right.
And even though I made my payments, they still foreclosed on me.
Yep.
Isn't it amazing how people have these horror stories in America about, you know, getting robbed or Ponzi schemes or financial, you know, oppression? It's just what was the American dream ended up being a thieving plan, I think.
Yes, it's called debt system. It's the debt system. They got to keep you in debt to keep you as a slave.
That's what they turned the American dream into. The American dream used to be the 40 in the Midwest, the 40 acres, and making a living on it was the American dream.
Yep.
And being free.
It wasn't about getting a job, having a good job, and retire. It was about having your own business.
Yep.
Making your own way, making your mark on the world. Yes.
They turned it into debt to where you had to have just like a small business. Good luck getting a loan, but if you make $8 an hour and pay high interest rates for credit cards or car loan, and you're barely squeaking by because you're paying too much on interest and paying too much on payments to keep that new car going and everything. You could get financing quicker than a small business that clears, you know, 150,000 a year.
Sure.
Because they want everybody working for those big corporations going into debt. They don't want the little guy out there anymore.
Your future, your prosperity is all under their thumb.
Yep, exactly.
So how can that be like turned around? I mean, taking the Fed out of things is probably going to help, but
yeah, returning to real money. Yep.
Buy from your farmers markets, buy from the little guy, not the corporate farms if they go there. Stay away from those corporate farmers if they bring crap there. Buy from the little guy that's out of the back of his pickup. Buy your cabinets from the little guy that makes them out of his shop in his backyard. Buy you know, stuff
from
like
the
that
farmers
if you can.
association. A lot of the farmers associations will have listings of all the farmers markets.
Yep. Just buy everything you can like that. Now there's things, I'll admit, I've got an Amazon account because there's no real counter to be able to some of the stuff, and that sucks because if I did buy from like a locally owned Napa or something for some of my parts, you know, like the teeth for my stump grinder, if I bought those local, that's going to cost me $750. I can buy them off of Amazon for $178.
yeah,
I'm a small guy. I can't afford that $700. I would if I could, but I can't. I had to buy the cheaper ones.
Yeah. But I mean, maybe mystore.com will turn things around a little bit. Maybe Mike Lindell might challenge Amazon.
That would be cool. I would move over to his in a hurry. And that's one thing. I will always help the startup unless they get too big, then I'll switch to something else.
Joe.
Just
Yeah,
like
I don't know.
Walmart. I haven't been into Walmart for probably about almost 2 years now.
Oh wow.
Well, like even like okay, the car parts thing. I go to AutoZone. They don't got it. It'll take a day or two. Then you get it. It's the wrong shit. Oh, sorry. We'll try again. All this bullshit. And then what? It's more expensive, right? Twice the price as rockauto.com. I can go to Rock Auto and have it here in a couple days, at half the price. So here's what I don't get. Like the AutoZone is, corporate. Why are they destroying themselves just to make everything come from this hub? Everything comes from, the internet, the Ethernet or something. It just comes out of nowhere instead of, putting the money into these local AutoZones. Train these people, get them right, make sure you got your part number right, make sure you got somebody there that knows what they're doing, what they're talking about. Spend a little bit of money. Don't hire a high school kid who doesn't know a fucking thing to try to, I'm saying nobody will spend any money to put into that individual that'll help you and get your shit straight.
To them, you're
Skull,
the
how
person.
can you be anti-Rock Auto?
No, I am Rock Auto all the way,
No, Skull
why
says
would
he's
you be-
anti-Rock Auto.
Oh
I don't
man,
understand how you can be. That's the cheapest price you can find on the internet. Plus, you get a free magnet.
When I worked in R&D, I got a good side of that because I was with a lot of the office people a lot of the time. And when I was doing that, I found out you are a number to them, and
Right.
you're a profit margin to them, not a person. The only thing that I lucked out and made me different in R&D is I had experience with like patents and stuff like that, and plus I'd done a lot of my own patents. One of those, like you guys we're all kind of in that group. We have inventive minds. We see something, we think of how we can make it better, and that's actually a rarity. It's kind of weird that it's kind of cool that many of us have come together here, because it's really a rarity in this world. But that made me unique. But at the same time, most people, they're going to hire the least amount of experience possible because experience costs them too much.
Yeah.
Go ahead and disagree with you, Skull, on the AutoZone part. AutoZone's gross. When I was trying to fix my brakes down there in Missouri, like I learned very quickly that AutoZone pays their people to just hand you parts, not to actually think. So,
but that's never the way it was anyway. When I was a kid, okay, I was raised in a town of 15,000 people, and there was a couple of part stores. There was McClary's, there was General Trading, and there was Maytag. Maytag. Maytag is a local name. Auto parts, right? And they all had. So the McCleary guys were the Chevy guys, and the General Trading guys were the Dodge guys, and they had gangs, and they wore jackets, right? Because the store had complimentary T-shirts. They'd show up at the races and raffle off some jackets, right? And it was a community, and it was, people had loyalty to their store, and tell them Bob sent you, shit like that. And all that's just cold, dead, gone. You walk into a sterilized AutoZone and you just, talk to a keyboard, basically, get some parts. So, I mean, the whole flavor of community interchange is all gone.
In the AutoZone, oh, sorry. The AutoZone and the O'Reilly here are pretty good. I get my filters and stuff from them. I go back and forth, and then I go to the Napa sometimes because just depends
I usually
on
go to
what I
Napa
get.
for like hoses and fittings and stuff.
Right. Now my brakes, I don't get those. Those are a little cheaper made at O'Reilly's and AutoZone. I get those from Napa because you get that Napa Gold. But the thing is, you got to watch out for Napa. They'll put their Napa Gold brand on stuff, and this ticked me off because it's still made in China,
Joe.
Chinesium.
and that ticked me off. So actually, I'm thinking of getting away from Napa on that and just going to what's that? It used to be Big A Auto, now it's CarQuest.
Big A Auto Parts.
You remember, see, in my opinion, our biggest problem in America right now with business is that no leader, and I include Trump in this, and yes, I like Trump, but I include him in this. No president has ever tried, or any congressman or leader or anything has ever tried in the last 30 years to enforce laws that we have on the books about our antitrust laws, about monopoly. Allowing it to go hog wild.
Yeah, the last thing I remember is AT&T. That was 30 years ago or more. I don't even know.
That was the last one they did. They called it Ma Bell, and they split it up in the 70s or 80s. And then the railroad was in the early 70s, I think, when they broke it up. And now look at the railroad. It's all one again. It's Burlington Northern Santa Fe, and it's owned by the same company.
It all came around. Yeah.
Yeah. It's insane. Walmart. I mean, I don't know if you guys. I'm sure you guys remember all the five and dimes that used to be around. You had Gibson, Duckwalls, Alco,
Franklin,
and then
Schneider, Pomida, Hy-Vee.
Yeah. Yep. They had all those. Now they're all gone. They're all gone. And then it became Walmart, Kmart, the competition. Then Kmart, even after Sears joined with them to try to bail them out, but Kmart was so far in the red that it almost bankrupted Sears, to where Sears had to sell the Craftsman tool to DeWalt. So now Stanley had to sell Stanley and Black & Decker, which owned DeWalt. So now Stanley, Black & Decker own Craftsman tools too. And they own Craftsman, they own Porter Cable, they own Rigid, or they make Rigid. They don't necessarily own it, they own a part of it. They own, it's just sad. There's basically 2 or 3 tool companies that make all the cordless tools out. Because even your Ryobi is made by the company that makes the MCC, that makes Milwaukee, and they might be the ones that make Rigid too, and they make the Cobalt tools. Yeah, it's sickening.
So the whole idea of free enterprise is bullshit.
No, it's become that way, unfortunately.
Man, and then
I'll tell you. Oh, sorry.
Well, I was just thinking nothing's fixable anymore too. It's all disposable. It's all disposable shit.
Right.
I remember tools. Well, of course, we all know that story, but man, tools used to last, and they just don't. You can't even expect a drill to last more than one season.
I got told in a unique way, and it made a lot of sense. They said it's just like medicine. You don't make money curing the problem by, like with tools, they don't, and this is by an appliance repair guy, because the same with appliances. They don't make money by the little parts, because they could cure everything and make one thing to where they could, work at it and fix it up when it needed. But if it breaks down so badly and it costs you so much that you just got to keep redoing it, it's a lot like the medical field, where they don't want to cure anything.
Yeah, first thing they teach you in
treat it.
medical school is the patient cured is a customer lost.
Bad for business, like the chewing gum commercial.
But it's bad for business.
And it's a sickening deal, and they're allowed to play those games with, I mean, heck, they play it with our lives, literally, with medicine.
Yo,
I mean, you take out the profit that they make treating people. And this is I'm not going to go back into this is part of my view on that we need to rethink the healthcare system, but I'm not going to go into all that. Don't
okay.
want Donkey's head to spin or anything. But if you took away their ability to make a fortune off of treating people, you would be amazed how quickly cures would come out. I guarantee it.
Oh yeah. Well, then that kind of comes.
Fire in the bowl.
Oh, you called it a minute early, Wiz. Oh, it's all in the timing.
You're just lagging.
Pretty good. It's 12:20 currently.
Really? Let's see. Where's my microphone?
And with that said, I'm gonna head to bed. I gotta be up early again tomorrow.
All right, Apex. See you in the cave.
Yep.
Hold on.
Hold on. Oh.
I usually get up somewhere around 4 or 5.
No, 10 minutes. 10 minutes, and we'll call it in 10 minutes.
Okay.
Another 10.
I got a question for y'all, and this goes back
Yeah.
to Walmart and Kmart. When Walmart and Kmart in the early 2000s, when Walmart and Kmart first started pushing their American-made sections, and Walmart got in trouble for cheating it and putting a "Made in the USA" on Chinese goods, whatever came of that? People don't even talk about it anymore.
Nope, because it got brushed under the rug.
Yeah.
It either got settled out of court or people just stopped caring.
Because that's what put them ahead too. They were able to sell this so-called American-made goods for like a cheap price, and it was actually Chinese goods. They were just putting their stamp on it, and that's what drove Kmart into the red and made them hurt so bad. Because they actually went to court over it with Kmart.
Wow.
Oh.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Is that
It's
why
just a thing.
Kmart's are all closed down now?
There's a few superstores left, but yeah, and well, now they're merged with Sears. Sears is the only thing keeping the new Walmart or Kmart that are out there afloat.
Oh man. I'm almost certain there's not a single Kmart left in Indiana.
We have a couple here, a couple super Kmarts in Colorado.
Huh. Excuse me.
Something's going wrong with everything. Everything's going to shit. Oh, sorry.
Yeah. And it will very quickly here, very shortly.
Yeah. We're
I like
gonna see
Sears
it.
too, Carpenter. It made me mad. I like Porter Cable prior to 2004 when Stanley Black & Decker, because they really went to push their DeWalt line. Stanley Black & Decker bought out Porter Cable in 2004. Prior to that, they were an industrial brand and had tools that would last forever.
Oh yeah.
I still have a Sawzall, the old Tiger saw. I have a circular saw, the 15 amp. I still have those I use that were back from like 2000, 2002 when it was still Porter Cable. Now you buy a Porter Cable and it's no better than like your regular Black & Decker you buy in Walmart.
Right.
Makes me mad. They destroyed that brand and they're going to do it with Craftsman too.
Yeah. Yeah. They already did.
Oh man, my world is falling apart. My mouse battery died, and I haven't recharged my 2 rechargeables, and I was borrowing a fucking third one from an unknown source, and that one's dead. Oh man, they stole the driver from my fucking touchpad. No, actually, Synaptics got into a fight with Hewlett Packard, so they said fuck you, and my Synaptics touchpad won't work on my laptop because they're having a pissing match.
Well, that sucks.
You know?
right?
Oh, so I heard St. Louis is back under a mask mandate. Is that right?
It may be.
Man, that sucks.
That may be. It's one of those Democrat areas.
Yeah.
There's only three. There's St. Louis and Kansas City and Columbia.
Apparently, California and New York City are mandating vaccines for public workers.
What Colorado's trying to do, they're pushing it.
Man.
They already have it to where if you work around kids, they're basically putting it out there that it's not on the books now that you have to, but they're putting it through to where you will have to before. Yeah. And they're making it to where they have to, because literally they're making it to where if they don't have it, parents could go after them if their kid gets sick, after them personally.
Yep.
Like in court. So they don't have a choice. I mean, yeah. Well, they have a choice.
I don't see anybody gonna jump in the. I don't see anybody jumping up to hit the wear the mask here, Dallas. But we'll see.
Mask and vaccine thing, I've been staying away from it lately. People are so single-minded. It's either one way to the extreme or the other way to the extreme. There's very few of us that try to look at both sides of it.
Right.
We've become a nation of extremes, and we're gonna be the own cause of our own downfall if not careful.
Man, I was trying to explain to my nephew the virtues of hard work, and he wanted to hear some of the stories about some of the stuff that I done. And I was like, yeah, you get under the crane and bring that beam up there and fill it full of bolts and weld it on there and all this other stuff. And I was like, that's why you got to grow up and be strong and tough, and you got to be physically active, And he was like, yeah, but now they're just going to 3D print buildings. So he doesn't have no motivation to have any kind of physique or motor skills or anything like that. He's just going to do it all from the keyboard.
Yeah, that's how a lot of.
As sucky and shitty as it sounds, more power to him. It is an emerging technology, and it's gonna hit one way or another. So why
absolutely,
not be on the forefront?
But we're still going to need tradesmen. We're still going to need tradesmen too.
Well, of course, yeah.
Get
those 3D printers aren't going to operate themselves, especially on heavy prints. Just saying.
Well, and those 3D printed houses, we're a good 20 years away from that anyways. I mean, there's a whole nother generation of cycle before it comes to being a regular thing on that.
Right.
I guess I just thought the kid was going to look up to me like, wow, I want to be a tough guy like my uncle. And he like has no reason to respect me because I was a fool for doing it that way when I could have just printed the damn thing.
Right.
Yeah.
And I can see it from that point of view as well,
Yeah, well, we didn't have that back then. Plus, there's something to be said for that hands-on feeling of working on something. I get what you mean, Toe. The working on something.
Yeah. This is an accomplishment.
Yes. I mean, to be honest, with half of my job, if I didn't have that aggression gene or the alpha gene, that to me, I call it pure and unadulterated aggression, because there's some jobs where you need to put every pound that you got in your ass into that job, or you're not going to get it done. So you need that aggression. So
I just don't. You guys watched Rocky and Bullwinkle, and you got the Aesop fables, and the old man's up there with his chisel and his hammer. And then the little boy comes over there, steps aside, Pop, and he grabs his jackhammer and son, you know. It just kind of hit me that I suppose that's a progression of things, but that really shocked me, man. Like, how am I going to get this kid to not just be a lump?
Oh, hey, Zach. How are you doing, Zach?
I don't know.
I don't know.
I don't know either. That one baffled me. I was like, well, yeah, okay, so we'll just get you a wheelchair and you can be the goddamn it Hawkins, and all you need is a couple of buttons and you'll be good. Stick a feeding tube in your mouth and away you go. Right on, boy.
Yeah.
I got a question real quick, and this is my. They talk about like these people are in a cult and they eat babies and stuff like that. Is that something that's actually believed, or is that just kind of a shock statement to?
Well, there are those that say that with quite a bit of evidence, circumstantial stuff.
Circumstantial.
Yeah, but there's pictures of their rituals and they even put them on video and shit like that of these people.
I know there's weird ass cults that actually do exist that do weird ass stuff like that. I just wasn't sure if there's any viable evidence pointing to any of our politicians involved.
Yeah, like Hillary. There's lots of it out there on Hillary.
Eek.
I don't get around much, but of all the people I've ever met in my life, I've never really run across a victim of a lot of the things that people are talking about. No, I mean, I never, you know, like some people say, well, I used to be a bad Satan worshiper or whatever, rock star. You know, I think Florida talks about it sometimes, you know, but I mean, I never really actually heard of anybody having seen or witnessed any kind of baby eating or mercy ritual killing, or you know, I never even saw anybody that, you know, related to anybody to having anything to do with pedophilia.
Well, I can say this: there was a Rolling Stone article, I believe. They were interviewing Tommy Lee Jones, and he admitted in this interview that he paid $10,000 to go watch with the group a snuff film.
Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah.
Now that's creepy.
So I'm not. So you know, whoever's in that group might have connections with other stuff. I'm just saying. You know, I can't substantiate that, but it is what it is. You know.
Yeah.
I kind of, but it's very difficult for me to believe that there's deep underground caves with thousands of children.
Yeah, I got crashed it with.
Yeah. Now, like the caves under Epstein Island, and that there's actually pictures of some of that out there. I don't know about with the children. I haven't seen anything with children in it or anything, but that place was like done up like a maze of hollowed out places. That place was creepy. Some weird shit. I don't know if it had anything to do with that, but I know there's actually pictures out about that.
I mean, I guess it comes back to why I even ever signed on this evening is, what is the motivation for hiding, you know, these cultures and technologies and things like that? It almost like can't just simply be money. It sort of has to be, you know, powers.
Well, and it's not that I don't believe it. I mean, I believe it's definitely possible because I believe it's absolutely possible. There's sick people out there everywhere. And to be able to argue it, I've got to know the facts and the proof behind it so I can argue it legitimately. That's the only reason I ask, is if there's proof, I'd like to see that proof. I don't want to see pictures. For God's sake, don't ever send me pictures of something like that. I don't want to see that. But if there's some type of verifiable proof, I'd want to see some type of proof to where I can argue that point legitimately. Otherwise, I just stay quiet on some of those arguments when people get into them. I don't know enough about it. I haven't seen enough about it to really. It'd be all speculation on my part if I did argue, and I don't want to do that, because then that ruins my credibility when I do argue with people.
Yeah.
So.
Well, shit. Did we have a good evening, fellas?
Yeah. I do believe it's about that time.
Turning into a pumpkin.
Emerald crashing
Yeah.
too.
Mm-hmm.
I've got another full day of work ahead of tomorrow, and it's going to be hot.
Yeah, it's gonna be a hot hell here.
And dry. We're gonna be dry. We're so dry. God damn it. We're gonna dry up and blow away, man.
Mhm.
Hi, Natalie.
Well, dream well, Patriots, and we'll see you tomorrow night.
Right on.
Night, everybody.
Good
Lots
night.
of love.
God bless.